Waiting for some people to join up our podcast before we begin. All right. Well, guys, today we have a great podcast, an informational podcast, a good one that we wanted to bring for you, and we want to go ahead and thank Miss the Justice of the Peace, Maverick County Justice of the Peace, Precinct One, Kina Mancha, for joining us today. Guys, I don't know about you guys. I know a little bit about the local government here and there. Justice of the Peace. I think this is awesome that we have Miss Mancha on here to introduce us a little bit about what that position does and how they serve our community. And that's one thing that me, and that's that I follow the political scene, so to speak. I myself don't really know the entire scope of the responsibility of a justice of the peace. So I thought that this would be an interesting podcast, and of course, we have Miss Mancha with us again. She's the Maverick County Justice of the Peace, Precinct One. We're going to go ahead and bring her out right now. Miss Mancha,
Hello.
how are you doing?
Hi. Good. How are you doing today?
Good, good. I was enjoying the weather, but all of a sudden today it went back to good old 100.
You go
You
past the
can't be
weather.
out. Yeah, you can't be outside for more than a couple of minutes, and you start sweating and sweating. It's I think like you said, you'll pass weather, right?
Yes, sir.
Well, we want to thank you for joining us, and I think this is the first time we've ever had a justice of the peace. So we thank you for reaching out and setting a date with us. I know we had spoken about it with a lot of time in advance, and we felt it'd be good to bring it up now. And a lot of the things that I found out in talking to a lot of the people in the circles that I know is that a lot of people don't know what a justice of the peace is, and it's not for not because we don't know or we don't um not intelligent or anything like that, but that's just a type of position that's not usually the one you want to go see first, I think, right? Whenever you're if you do something wrong. So we're happy to have you on, and we look forward to learning from you about what a JP does, and the ins and outs. That's a very interesting topic. So we'll go ahead and get started from the beginning. So what made you run to be a JP, or what was the thing that caught your eye about being a justice of the peace that made you want to run for the to be an elected to be one?
Bueno, para comenzar, antes que nada, hello to everybody. It's a great day. I'm so happy to be here. I'm super excited to talk about, what we do as JPs, Justice of the Peace. Um, Start off, I was 9 years old, I believe. My father was the Justice of the Peace, and it was
Oh,
back in the 1980s. Right, Javier Mancha, he was the Justice of the Peace, and I would go to his court, and I would sit in the corner, and I would just listen to whatever he did. I estaba como niña chiquita en el chisme, but whenever he had cases that, he knew were going to get out of hand or that I couldn't listen, me sacaba del cuarto. And I would be like, I want to be in there. Whenever the police would go and pick him up to go do inquest at 2, 3 in the morning, or they would call him, that's when you go and pronounce somebody that passed away. I would get on his truck and me subía because I could always hear when they went, so I would get in his truck and I would be waiting for him. And so nunca me bajaba de la troca, but I was always on there with him. And so this one time he didn't take me because they told him, Judge, I don't know if you want to take her on this one. Ya me conocían todos los policías. This little girl coming out toda peinada, ya iba con mi papá a las 2, 3 de la mañana. And he left me in the truck. And I was so mad at him. I didn't talk to him like for a week. And I believe it was, I guess like in fourth grade, my primo and I, Michael, and we're the same age. So Michael and I
okay.
were in school and stuff. And when I became just a peace, he told me, Prima, I remember when you were that one of these days I'm gonna be a JP. I was like, really? I don't remember saying that. He's like, yes, he would always tell me, yo sé con mi papá, porque a mí me gusta todo eso, me gusta ayudar a la gente. Um, he was always about the people. It was
Mm.
never about money. It was never about power. It was never about anything for my dad. And I said, one of these days yo voy a hacer eso. Yo quiero ayudar a mi gente. Quiero ayudar a mi comunidad. I want to help people as much as possible. And when I took office, almost 16 years ago, gracias a Dios, I've been
Oh
blessed.
wow.
Um, the very first, I think, and the best advice that my father ever gave me, he's like, Mika, whatever you do, do not violate people's civil rights.
Mm.
And that's the code and the model that I try to live by. Now, of course, we're all human. We all make mistakes and what have you. But if it's in my ability, what I do or don't do, the number one thing that I always try to do is not to violate anybody's civil rights, right?
Mm.
Como te digo, we are human and maybe I'll make a mistake here and there, um, but not intentionally. There's a lot of way to help people. I'm a strong, strong believer of community service. I think I'm the one judge that does the most community service, and I'll take a lot of things for community service. Before I was popular, I would do, I'm a teacher, ¿verdad?
Okay.
I'm a teacher by heart as well. So um, I believe in education. In order
How
to,
long have you been a teacher? I'm sorry.
I've been a teacher for almost 22 years now and a judge for
Oh,
almost
wow.
16. So it was like 5 years that I started teaching.
Mhm.
And I work with the gifted and talented. So I work, with all sorts of kids. I love kids. Um, I don't have any myself, so my students know they're my babies, and I try to help them. I've even married some that have already graduated. I see them and like,
Oh
oh my
wow.
God, you're becoming a doctor, you're becoming a lawyer, all these things. But I'm a strong believer in education. So if I have somebody who, let's say, has 4 tickets, and in our community, especially right now, it's very difficult to pay a ticket, let alone four.
Mhm.
Let's say you work at Walmart, you work as un albañil or what have you, and it's either you're gonna feed your family or pay a ticket. We're not here to make money, right?
Mhm.
We're as a justice of the peace, just what it says. We're being just and we're holding the peace. So let's say you don't have a GED. I have the program where you get your GED, and I'll take that as a community service. If you're going to college, if you're going to school, all right, give me your grades. If I ask them to give you A's and B's, and I'll take that as community service. All right, I've been doing that for almost what 12 years now. Because then my first year, my first four, estaba verde. Much much about anything. But as
You had to
as I
learn the
went,
ropes a little bit, right? To get the yeah.
yes, and so community service, that is the number one thing that I believe in. We need to help the community. All right. Whether you go clean the parks, you go clean the lake, you go clean the churches. Now, for me, because I am precinct one, I always ask people, you're going to do community service, we're going to go to a precinct one facility. Many years ago, I asked any nonprofit precinct one, so I'm doing it again, any nonprofit precinct one association that would like to get community service workers, send me your letter. Send me your nonprofit letter. Send me your precinct one letter, and I will send people over to your facilities to do community service. We've
Wow.
sent people to the stock show. We've sent people over to Sacred Heart Church. We've sent people over to the lake. Um, I've had community service clinics
Mhm.
where you can go and work for 4 hours, pay off a ticket. You know, that's because it's very difficult. It's very difficult to feed your family and pay a ticket. You know.
Yeah.
Now, if you come and tell me, I have 10 tickets and it's one after another in the first feeding, well, that's different. We'll help you, but you also have to help yourself, type of thing. ¿Verdad?
No,
So
and that's good information because I don't think a lot of people are aware of alternatives. I think a lot of the people, if they get a ticket, I mean, I know being whenever I was young, I kind of thought like, hey, well, I'll just put it here and it'll go away. I don't have to think about it. But no, somebody comes back and checks them. So no, absolutely, that's something that's I guess it's a incentive for people to come out here and pay for what they did for what they got the ticket for, and also it gives an opportunity for them to, maybe not do something as stringent as what they might think, because
Exactly.
immediately the first thing I think is that, oh man, they're gonna have me, in the highways or breaking the rock, or what's that old
No.
metaphor that they always do of the prisons and breaking the rock with the chisel. But no, I mean that's great. And does that applies for all criminal cases, or does
Well,
somebody have to be in precinct one?
now the thing is, in order for me to give community service, they have to be in my precinct. I cannot give community service for somebody in Judge Rodriguez's office or Judge Hernandez or Judge Rios or Judge Smith because everybody's court is, you hold it however you want. So I give it for mine. Um, Another thing that I try to do is like in Christmas, I will just charge the court cost or
Mhm.
and give you payments to pay it because you know pay a ticket of $200 or buy your child a gift that they're going to remember. It's there's no contest right there. So I try to help people out as much as possible, but they need to come to us. I'm not going to go, excuse me, you got to pay. I put it
Mhm.
out on the radio. Mario Eugenio is very good about putting it out. Limon is very good about putting out the rancherita. They'll put them out for me. The Rising Texans are good about giving out the information. And where we put it out there so people can come and we'll help them out as much as possible. All right. Now, one thing that I need, especially my younger generation, to understand your license. You need to get your license. Okay. Antes, cuando estábamos más jóvenes nosotros, que ya, we're getting up there. Cuando está, you get a license, no big deal, you get a ticket. But now, we can dismiss a ticket for no license. We can dismiss it only if you get your license. If you don't get your license, then we can't dismiss it because the state's going to tell me, Judge Mancha, you're dismissing a ticket for no license, and they don't have a license. So, like I tell everybody, you need to get your license. There's a
Mhm.
certain time period that we can give them that we can legally dismiss it. So, get your license, take the 6 hour course, do whatever you need to do, and we will help you. I am not about collecting for the county. That's not my job. My job is money collecting office. My job is to help people to be just and to be fair. Okay, keep the peace.
And how would somebody, let's say, end up having to go to your precinct? Let's say I'm in precinct one. Um, I got a ticket. So now I have to go see the Justice of the Peace, Miss Kina Mancha. From there, what would be the process? Would I get a selection, or do you give me options, or how does that work?
Well, there are certain things. You can ask for community service. You can ask for, to pay the ticket and payments. You can say you're not guilty. Now, but before anything, you need to plead either guilty or not guilty. Because if you say, "Oh, I'm not guilty," then you cannot talk to me. You cannot talk to the judge because we're going to have a court later on with the officer, the county attorney, and the judge. So I cannot hear any side, one or the other, before the court date. If you plead guilty, then we can help you out. Then we can say, okay, how can we help you? Do you want to pay it? Do you want to do community service? Do you want to do this? You know, that's how we can help you. It all depends what kind of ticket you have. If it's a ticket from 2010, we can dismiss it because its statute of limitation is too old. I don't believe in getting and collecting tickets that are 2010. That's
Yeah.
just, if we couldn't collect it back then there's no reason to be collecting right now.
Now, who would have to give me a ticket for me to show up at one of the offices for the JPs?
It would have to be either a state trooper, a sheriff, a game warden, not a police. A police officer would go to Eagle Pass PD, Municipal Court, with Judge Martinez and Judge Melendez. All right. I've had people tell me, es que la policía me dio una infracción. Then you have to go over there. We cannot help you with tickets that are from over there because we have city and we have county. So we cannot put them together.
Okay, okay. So then, where were we on this process? I get the ticket from sheriff or state trooper. I show up. to your office and hey, it's been hard. I don't have funds right now to cover the whole ticket, and you give me options of what I can perform, or how does that
You can
work?
do
Or
community service. You can pay the court cost, or you can give it in payments. You can do deferral as well. You can do defensive driving. Deferral is where it won't come out in your record active, but it's still going to be on your record. It's going to be dormant because now with the new laws that came out with the Damon Allen Act, there's a lot of things that change. We cannot, even if the only way it won't be there, we dismiss it. But if we dismiss it, we have to say why. You got a ticket for no insurance, Isaac, or I'm sorry, for no license. You got your license within the 45 days, then we can dismiss it. Now, you get a ticket for no insurance, and you got it at 12:01. You went at 12:10, and you got your insurance. Legally, I cannot dismiss because the state's going to tell me, Judge, he did not have insurance at the time of the accident or at the time of the infraction. But
Mhm.
let's say they give you a ticket for no insurance, but you can prove that you had insurance, then we can dismiss with no fee. Because whenever there's a dismissal, there's a $20 court fee, and my office only takes checks or money orders. Okay, no cash at all. So we do not take cash. But if you have your insurance at the time, you just didn't have it with you couldn't. A lot of people have it in their phones, and we couldn't put it up when we had it. Then we can dismiss it with no fee. We'll call and verify to see if that insurance was active at that time, and then we can dismiss it.
Mm. So there's different aspects, different options that what you can use depending on what ticket I guess the driver gets, and then from there on you have a scale to kind of work with or kind of assist the options to assist the person who got the ticket.
Yeah, like
Uh,
defensive driving, you cannot get if you're passing a school bus, if you using a cell phone, if you're going over 20 miles an hour. All these things are the things that come out that we cannot, even if we wanted to, the law does not allow us.
mm. So there's certain restrictions. I guess there's guidelines as to what a JP can, be a range, I guess, of kind of where you can go with it, and that's up to, of course, the judge's discretion on how she wants to or he wants to move on that.
Every judge has certain jurisdictions. For example, a justice of the peace can evict somebody because you're renting a house and it's not you didn't pay the rent, whatever. A JP can evict a person. A district judge cannot evict a person. All right. But a district judge can say if there's a dispute for a house and it's between Kina Mancha and Isaac Ruiz, and the district judge says, the house belongs to Isaac Ruiz, then we as the JPs need to honor whatever the district judge said. We cannot say, no, Kina Mancha is the owner, and so no, we cannot say who the owner is, but we can evict. So each judge, each position has their own jurisdiction what we can and cannot do.
Okay, and well, going kind of along with that, I mean, jurisdiction, all that. Like, who I know I get this call a lot when I used to work with the city of Eagle Pass. I was a clerical specialist, so I would answer the phone, and I kid you not, one of the most common things that we were asked was there was always a dispute between neighbors because a tree grew and now it's hanging across the neighbors. It's dropping leaves or leaving some kind of mess. Is that some? I mean, because they would ask me all the time about this. I'm not even joking about that. Is that something a JP would step in and come into play there?
Well, yes and no. Okay.
Okay.
If it's just over your neighbors, but it's not doing anything, it's not causing any harm, then that would be more like the code enforcer, go there and check. But let's say your tree grew and the roots broke the fence to my house. Then you have to get an estimate, you have to get all these things, and you have to, open small claims. I know that a lot of people say, they go to the sheriff, they go to the police, talk to a JP. Yes, talk to a JP. We'll give you the procedures of what needs to be done. But if you're going to open a claim in our court, in any JP court, you need to understand you cannot talk to us. You cannot give details. We can give you the procedures. For example, let's say somebody crashed into you and you want to get them to pay for your car, blah blah blah, and you want to, you just want to go and tell me the whole story. The thing is, you cannot tell me anything. You cannot give me any. I can tell you what you need to do. You need to write them a letter. You need to tell them, Kina Mancha, you hit my car on January 20th at 2 p.m. at Walmart. I'm asking that you fix my car for $3,000, and I'm giving you 10 working days to make some type of arrangements. If not, I'll be forced to take legal action. Okay, that we can tell you, or the secretaries can tell you exactly. You have any questions, any details? The judge's secretary can tell you, because, like I tell everybody, no me diga, no me diga, no me diga, because if you tell me, I can't help you. It's like I can. We have to be unbiased when we go to court. So if I already
Mhm.
hear one side, para cuando venga el otro lado, pues your mind is already working. No, pues the other one told me this. And so you cannot, the judges cannot talk to the people that are going to go and open up a case. As much as we want to help you, because we do, that's what we're there for. We do this because we like it. We do this because la queremos de corazón. It's not for
Mhm.
the money. It's not because we work 24/7. We get calls all day, all night, especially when we're on call. All right. But like I tell everybody, if you tell me anything, I cannot help you. Talk to Miss Flores. She will be more than happy. She's been with me for like 8, 12 years now. She's amazing. 8 years. She is amazing. She knows everything, and so she can answer any question that you like, but you can't talk to me about details. And some people get upset, and it's not that I don't want to help or I don't want to hear you, but if you plan to open a case against anybody, as a judge, we cannot hear any details.
Now, let me ask you this as how it compares. So rather than, and I'm not sure, that's why I'm asking. That kind of seems that small claims, that's something other than a lawsuit, or is it an alternative route, or can
Well,
you kind of?
it's something like a lawsuit, because you're suing them for damages to your car. You're suing them for damages to your house. You're suing them for whatever. Our jurisdiction is 20,000 and under. So if it's 20,001 cent, you cannot come to a JP. Okay,
Oh, okay,
so it
that's
has to be 20,000 and under. Now, if you want to sue for $1 million, then you have to go, district court higher up. We have no jurisdiction over that. And when I say jurisdiction, like I tell everybody, we can say, "Oh no, you know what? uh, you're getting sued in precinct 3," and I'm going to say, I say, you're not responsible because you didn't do it. Well, guess what? That verdict that I give has no meaning, because I'm not the judge for precinct 3. That is Judge
mm.
Domingo Rodriguez, not me. So whatever I say is not going to have any value in that precinct.
And it's not from where you live from. It's where you got the ticket from, right?
Where you got the ticket now, that's a little bit different. Tickets can be anywhere. It's up
Mhm.
to the officer that gives it where they want to send it. So you can get one over by the casino sent to me, or sent to Judge Smith, or sent to Judge Rodriguez, Judge Hernandez, Judge Rios, wherever. That's up to the judges. They go up to the peace officer. It doesn't matter. But to get sued or sue somebody, you either have to live in my precinct 1, or it happened there. Let's say you live over by, I don't know, Westlake. Now Westlake is one.
Mhm.
You live over by 4th Street, but the
Okay.
accident happened in Walmart. That's precinct 1. So the case would be open in precinct 1.
Mm. Okay, I see.
Wherever it happened, it's open now. Precinct 1 is Westlake, Las Quintas,
Mhm.
uh, from 2nd Street down to Williams, de aquel lado de Williams. They took
Mhm.
off below uh, Los Angeles Heights. All that was taken off. So that's off. But the Williams main all the way to Olive Street, 2nd Street, that's precinct 1. Chula Vista's precinct 1. And I believe Louis Farmer State, donde yo vivo, precinct 1.
Okay. Yeah, and So just awareness for everybody watching. If you're in precinct one or have any issues, Miss Kina Mancha is there. I mean, if you have any small claim issues, that's under 20,000. You said right. That's the threshold.
Yes, sir.
So they
Yeah.
would. I mean, to give another example of, a real life example that somebody watching might need to go to your office. To get married, the JP offers those kind of services. Can you tell
Yes.
us a little bit about that?
Yes. If you want to get married, what you need is your marriage license. I'm sorry. Well, your marriage license. But to get your marriage license, you need your driver's license, an ID, and your social security. You go with the county clerk, which is Sara Montemayor's office. You get your license there, and then you go to a JP, and we can marry you. Now, if you want to get married to somebody with from Piedras, from Musquis, whatever that they don't cross, then you need to come to the office and get a affidavit. We fill out the information. Then I go to the bridge and I verify that Isaac Ruiz wants to marry Maria. That doesn't cross, and I see all the paperwork. Maria, you want to marry Isaac Ruiz? Yes. Okay. So go ahead and sign it. I sign it. And then you go to Sarah's office, Sarah Montemayor's office, the county clerk,
Mhm.
get your license. We wait 3 days. Then you can get married. Now, you can get married 3 days after you get your license, and it's only good for 90 days. So let's say you take it out today, and then you waited till September 1st to get married because you want to get married September 1st. Well, guess what? It's not valid anymore.
Thank
You have to
you. Oh wow.
only good for 90 days. And any JP can do it.
And how much would that run somebody? On
Well,
average.
JP has their own thing that they charge.
Mhm.
I've had my fees set since 16 years ago. If I do it in Eagle Pass in the house, in the office, it's $100 and it's 200 at the bridge.
Oh, wow. I mean that's another thing that I wasn't aware of that JPs can do. I think there's other judges as well that are allowed to do similar things, right? Go out there
Yes,
and
sir.
marry people.
Yes.
Do you get a lot of people? Do you marry a lot of people? Let's say in any given year.
Not as many as, let's say, the judge that is set in the courthouse because he kind of has, I don't know, a monopoly or something, and they go over there or they travel. I don't know. So whatever trickles down, but I'm okay with that. I'm okay, and I do a lot of free weddings because a lot of friends and a lot of people that I work with, te caso gratis, and they're like, remember you did, yeah, you got it. So it's
That's awesome.
Uy, papá, los chicles, no es nada, nothing that I count on because that's not something, if it happens, great. If it doesn't, pues también part of it. And one thing that I've for 16 years that I've always done and I've always said, you know, un penny no te tomo. So I do not. We get paid for this, poquito o mucho, as much as we do, poquito. It goes a poquito because you don't get paid enough. But that's my job, right? That is my job. So you don't have to pay me. Oh, thank you for coming to magistrate. Thank you for doing this. Thank you for no, 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 no. That is my job. You do not have to pay me. No me tienen que dar. Más que las gracias, está más que bien. Not, ni una soda, nothing. Like I tell everybody, you don't have to give us anything. We don't accept anything. No acepto nada because that's not why we're here. We're here to help you, not for anything else.
No, yeah, and that's real. I think refreshing to hear, especially recently. With all the elections and everything that's going on this year. Uh, Still, elections are coming up, and I know yours as well will be decided very soon. How are you feeling about that?
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good. Gracias a Dios. Les pido el voto a todos. I ask everybody for the vote. Kina Mancha Cruising one. You know, um, the 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 people, my constituents that going out and vote. You might like me. You might not like me. But the thing is, I'm here to do my job, and I'm here to do it the best of my ability. And I have lost a couple of friends or so-called friends because I didn't go their way in the case or what
Mm,
have you. Like I told them, I cannot break the law for you or anybody else. We
mhm.
have to follow what the law says. Whether you like it or not, I have to follow what the law says. Now, we go to school at least, or the state mandates that we go 20 hours of school every year. I like to go to two. Esto con the coronavirus, we haven't been able to go, so I've been taking my courses online. I already have 40 hours. We only need 20, and I'm sorry, I have 43. I like to stay in touch with everything that's going on, because we do need to understand what the laws are. The laws change basically every year. And that's why we go in the summer, because I need to understand the new laws. Like they said, the Damian Allen Act. Now it's requesting that if you get a protective order, we need to report it to the state. No, you cannot give a PR for a personal report. You get on your signature for a protective order. You cannot get it for drunk driving. All these different things, excuse me, that the state does not allow us. So those are things that we need to understand, that we need to do what the state tells us, right? And so,
I think you mentioned right now protective orders, emergency protective orders. Is that something that the justice of the peace would be able to help?
yes, that is something that we do, but people need to understand. In order for us to do a emergency protective order, the person needs to be in jail. I've gotten a lot of people that tell me, es que ya lo soltaron y me dijeron que nomás venga a hablar con el juez de paz para que le pongan una orden de protección. They were released, but go talk to the JP for a protection order. We cannot do that. The person has to be in jail in order for us to do a protective order. Let's say Juan beat up Maria, and Juan is in jail, but they let Juan go, and then they told Maria, no, pues ve con la juez para que le pongan la orden de protección. We can't do it anymore. He's already been released. He has to be in jail. We cannot put it if they have been released. We cannot put it if there have been no charges. An emergency protective order is to protect you. So, and if you make a police report, get those police reports, get those sheriff reports. I have people that come and tell me, es que siempre me pega, es que siempre puedo, I'm back in blue again. Ma'am, ¿ha hecho reportes? No. ¿Ha ido al hospital? No. ¿Tiene fotos? No. Now, no es que no le creamos, no es que no le queramos ayudar, pero por ley no puedo. Why? Because it never happened. If you never make a report, nunca se reporte que su esposo viene todos los fines de semana cuando le pagan y la golpea y nunca ha hecho nada, no lo podemos arrestar nada más porque me dice, ya me cansé de que me peguen y quiero que lo arresten. It's not about anybody lying or telling the truth. We, as justice of the peace, juez de paz, we have to follow what's in, por decir, this paper, the four lines, the four corners. Whatever information is there, that's what we can follow.
Yeah,
And then
and I'm sorry. Go ahead.
we have a
No,
restraining order. A lot of people have gone to us and said, I want a restraining order. They told me to come to you to get a restraining order. Well, JPs do not have the authority to do a restraining order. You either have to go to the county attorney or the district judge. We cannot do a restraining order. We have no jurisdiction over that. The only thing that the JPs can do are emergency protective orders.
Can you explain real quick the difference between the two?
Yes, a emergency protective order is 61 days. It's only good for 61 days. Okay. And this person cannot get close to you, blah, blah, blah. Basically, it's used like for family violence, más que nada. And it's supposed to be if you want to divorce your husband, you have to be 61 days separated from him legally to be able to file. That's where this comes in. A restraining order can be for years, can be for a month, 2 months, 3 months, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, but we don't do them. All right. We cannot do them. We cannot say, oh, you're going to get a restraining order. And if somebody tells the person, go on, I'll give you the restraining, we cannot do that. They have to go to the appropriate people to be able to get your restraining order.
Mm. I know that's one of the things in the past couple of years that's been kind of thrusted into the spotlight. The family violence. It's been up like the past couple of years, as we mentioned, because of the. I strongly believe it has to do a lot with the coronavirus and having people just kind of stuffed up in their houses, not being able to move, not being
Yeah.
able, and it can affect people, and we've seen that our numbers are high compared to past years, and domestic violence is one of the things that we struggle still here as a community a lot. Of course, we have a shelter, and the shelter, can only do so much. We need a bigger facility on that, but that's one of the things that is a big topic, because we do have a lot of those occurrences, right? Especially recently, but would there's no time frame as far as putting a emergency protective order, just as long as whoever it is against, as long as they're in jail. Like, let's say he had a warrant out or she had a warrant out, she's in jail for another reason or whatever. Can the protective order be done at that time?
Yes, it can, but you have to have proof. You cannot just say, "Oh, I'm going to put." My husband had a warrant for an invalid license, and they arrested him. Oh, I want you to put a protective order. Where is the proof? What did he do? You have. That's where the police reports come in. That's where all of these paper trail comes in. And like I tell everybody, it's not that I don't want to help. It's I can only do what the law allows me to do. And with this new act that came out, the Damien Allen Act, there's a lot of things on protective order, a lot of things on PR bonds, things that we can do or cannot do, and we have to follow that. But in order to be able to put, let's say they did arrest my husband for invalid license, and I already have 5 reports that he beats me up or what have you, and I want to say I want to put a protective order. Well, he's already in jail. You press charges for abuse or what have you, and the protective order goes in as well. Now, the
For
protective order can be, I'm sorry, I can ask for one, or a lot of the times we have the peace officer, the investigator say, you know what, yes, mucho, we're going to ask for one, and they if they can prove to the state that there's enough evidence to do it, then we can do it.
uh, if somebody wants to kind of come up and take advantage of that situation, if they're in that situation and take advantage of the emergency protective order, what I know you mentioned a lot. They got to prove it. Um, one of the most obvious things, of course, the police reports. But what else would you recommend in their being in their position? What they can come up with and be able to present to a JP to help them prove
Pictures,
their case.
take pictures, document. We have a lot of, unfortunately, we have a lot of people that are in situations, abusive partners, what have you, and they can't go and call the police. They can't go and make a report, but they can document. They can put on December 21st, 3:30 a.m. in the morning. Jesus came home and he did this, this, and this. And then December 24th at 4 in the morning, Jesus came home and did this, this, and this. All of that is documentation that is needed, the time, the date, the place, and what happened. Something has to be documented, something has to be able to prove or what happened. Because if you're there and you're, I think that it was around Christmas, me pegó dos veces, pero no, we can't help with that. We can't. But if you have something in right and you keep a good documentation, that can help you get the protective order. That can help you get a restraining order. That can help you get, arrested. Anything can help.
And since we're kind of on the topic, and it's kind of a thing here in Eagle Pass, everywhere, right? Um, you see those family violence and stuff like that come up often. You have women out here that may be kind of a little intimidated or not want to come out and say something. Um, Having that kind of documentation, would it be just as simple as writing into a notebook, putting it away just to have it there in case? um Now,
Yes.
from there they would go to an investigator, or they would go and present that to you.
Investigator. Now, you need to understand a JP, a judge, we're not an investigating authority. We cannot make our own investigation. We cannot go and see, oh, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. You take it to the investigator, they do the investigation, they come to us and say, Judge, I think this person is good for a protective order because this, and this.
Mm. Now, I've seen a lot of instances. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, okay, they prove it to the court as to what and why the protective order is needed. Now, just because they took it doesn't mean we're going to sign it. They have to prove it. There have been several that warrants of arrest or what have you. Oh, we're going to sign a warrant of arrest. Why? Oh, because they said so. No, it's not the way it works. You got to show me why you want me arrested or why you want me to sign a paperwork to arrest that person. And they have to take it to the judge. They cannot give it to Isaac to take it to Judge Mancha to go sign and then take it back to the police. No. The officer needs to take it to the judge, not the person that's asking, because anybody can type anything up. Here, judge, sign it. Now, a paper is a paper, but once a judge signs it, it becomes legal.
Mm,
And the peace officers need to do what it says. So we're not going to sign just because.
yeah. No, that makes total sense. And I mean, just listening to you on how those kind of situations can go, and I know you stressed, um, make sure you can prove and have evidence and stuff. I can imagine, and I have read, some comments whenever something in the news comes out a little controversial. There has been, I guess, a strong kind of regard towards law enforcement, or I'm not sure who it should be directed to, prosecutors, but it's kind of a sense here that, oh, they don't do anything about it. And I've read that on several comments on several things on different topics, but we've had women before commenting on different shows, and they've brought up situations as such, and I could imagine where maybe they're not conscious enough to be able to take notes, pictures, or anything like that, but um it would be difficult for them to have to present anything, right? As far as I mean, what else can they do without having that documentation in place? But I think it's I'm not sure if it's the culture or um just our us here, but it tends to not communicate well to the people, the residents, because these things still happen, still go on, and I mean, I know I'm going off a little bit over here, but I mean, I've seen a lot of women mad about, hey, well, they never did this, hey, they never did that, but a lot of us don't understand is what you're saying, the having the liability of having the proof. You have the burden of proof to show what is actually going on. They can't just go on whatever's word, on whoever's word, that they're doing this, they're doing that. They can't do anything about that. So I think that with you stressing that, that's a very important point that we need to get across to whoever needs to report such a incidents such as that. Um, you had a recent election, or you did you run unopposed?
For the Democrat, I run unopposed. I have somebody against me for Republican. So in November, we're gonna, we're going to, we never stop. We always try to promote, but in November, we're gonna go strong, si Dios quiere. I want to answer a couple of questions.
Mhm.
Somebody put, what is enough evidence? And speaking up is not enough evidence considered. Enough evidence, it's up to what you have. Now, I've gotten reports where it says he went out Friday and came back. That's not enough evidence. That report no dice nada. It has to be specific. You have to tell them, if you're going to speak up, give them details. Give the officer details as to what happened, not just on like a bullet point. You need to let us help you. Help us help you, right? Because unfortunately, in our culture, una mujer llora y ya, they want to go arrest the man. And it doesn't work like that. In order to arrest a man for family violence, whatever, we need to have proof. Now, in the same sense, I've had a lot of cases where the female is the one that beats on the husband,
Mm.
and the husband is the one that gets arrested. And then after they do the investigation or what have you, the child, ahí está el hijo y le dice, no, es que mami le estaba pegando a papi, papi le hizo así, and ella se pegó, and, they arrested the man because the lady, when she hit him so bad, but it was the other way around. So that's where the investigation comes in. That's where the evidence comes in, because we need to be fair, tanto como para hombres, para mujeres, men and women. Everybody has the same civil rights, and we cannot arrest somebody just because I said so. Ay, porque yo dije they're going to go arrest them. No, it doesn't happen like that. And even me as a judge, I say, no, es que Juan me pegó. Go arrest him. Ah, porque dijo la judge. No, we have to do the evidence as to what happened. And not just because I said so, they're going to go arrest somebody. There has to be evidence against everybody, tanto como mujer a los hombres.
Esmeralda, I don't know if you have anything additional. I think you pretty much summed it up pretty well. Um, Now, you've been justice of the peace how many terms?
Four. I'm going for
Four.
my fifth term. Si Dios quiere.
Wow. I mean, that shows a lot of stamina to want to help out your community, because I know I mean, there's just some people that are not cut out for public service, and it turns out, I mean, they get into it, and then you know, completely, hey, this is not what I wanted, this is not what I thought. But what keeps you going each and every time? You're going into another election right now. It's your fifth election, so it's not. You've been around a good while. So what keeps you motivated? What crosses your mind when you're saying, okay, here we're lining up for our fifth term? What keeps on pushing you?
Me gusta de corazón. I like to help people. A mí me gusta ayudar a la gente, a mi comunidad. I love what I do. I've had so many people tell me, Judge, you should run for county judge. You should run for commissioner. You should run for this. And like I tell them, you know what? If I were to do anything else, I wouldn't be able to help the people as close as I am. I love what I do. I love it. Me gusta. No es de que I am the judge. I've had teachers that I work with that have told me as far as last year, you're a judge. I didn't know you were a judge. They're like, how come you never told them? Because I'm a teacher. I'm a teacher from 8 to 3. I'm a teacher. I don't tell anybody that I'm a judge. That's eso queda aparte. I am a teacher from 8 to 3. Then from 3:30 to 7:55, I am a judge. I love what I do. I love helping. I love helping the young community, my senior citizens, everybody in between. Now, I do need to let my especially my ex students, and they already know this. Um, if you go to my office with a ticket, if you're my ex student, you're gonna hear it. Te voy a regañar, because sometimes they just need a little pull on the ear. I'm gonna help you, but you need to understand you cannot be doing this. You know, we know better than this, and if we do or not, we gotta pay the consequences. We all do, and so, but I do it because I love it. Just like a teacher that I love being a teacher, I love being a judge. I love helping my community the best of my ability. And this is the way I can help my community by helping out with community service, helping out with, um, taking people to pay how they can. I rather have you, uh, like, I'll give you an example. I had a
Mhm.
young student that went with his mother. He got a ticket, and I said, you can do community service or you can pay the ticket. And the mother kind of looks at him and says, Mijo, ¿qué quieres hacer? Le dije, no, ma'am. Le dije, va a pagar su hijo. He's going to do community service. Está bueno y sano, puede community service. And he's like, okay. Do not ask your child, what do you want to do? Because they're going to tell you. If I need to go work in the sun, go clean the park, or mom pay, que pague mommy. Of course, que pague mommy.
Yeah.
But we need to tell our kids, you are responsible for what you do. And if
Mhm.
you were quemando llanta in the middle of the road or speed or what have you, you need to understand that it's not acceptable. You need to, if driving is a privilege that we all have, and you get that with your license. and you get that with your insurance, and you get that, if everybody drives like a crazy person, the streets are going to be very dangerous.
Yeah.
So we need to follow the laws. We need to follow. They're there for a reason. They're there to help. You know. So even if you're late, that's too late. I'd rather you be late than not be there at all. Plain and simple. So it doesn't matter. If you're late or whatever, just get there. But that's the way it is. That's what I like to do. I like to help.
No, I mean that sounds great, and I knew you were the JP in precinct one. I didn't know the longevity you had, the so many years as being the precinct. I mean, the people, obviously, if they keep on reelecting you, are happy and satisfied, right?
Hope so. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
No, well, I mean, I don't know if you have anything else, Miss Mancha. I mean, we really appreciate you coming down. I mean, you gave us a lot of a good educational points as far as the JP, because I mean, I try not to get any tickets, but God forbid I accidentally pass that red light or stop sign. We need to know where to go, right?
Yes, sir. We definitely do. And it's okay if you don't know. Call us and we'll help you out. We're going to help out as much as possible. Miss Flores is very knowledgeable. She knows exactly what she's doing. Call her. She can ask you. Now, if you tell her, I want to talk to Judge Mancha, she will ask you, what is it about? 99% of the time, they want to open up a case. And it's not that they don't want you to talk to me or I don't want to talk to you, but we need to follow what the state says. You cannot talk to anybody before you go to court. So that's why a lot of the times, you know, I cannot talk to people. And it's not that I don't want to, but it's just what it is. And I do need people to understand the laws are changing. They change like all the time. They're changing. And we're still learning the new one that came out, which is the Demon Island Act. I already went to two courses on that, so we're learning on that. We're going, and so we are here to help you. We will the NEJP that is here, which is you know Judge Mancha Precinct One, Judge Rios Precinct Two, which she won't be a judge anymore. Uh, Judge Domingo Rodriguez Precinct Three, Judge Jeannie Smith 3A, and Judge Hernandez, Tere Hernandez in Precinct 4. We are all here to help. But you need to ask, you cannot just then say, I'm here. Tell me we will help you. We will help you as much as possible. But you need to ask us. And we can only do as much as the law allows us. We will not break the law for anybody. Okay. And I know these judges, they are all awesome. They're all amazing. And we all try to do our best to our ability. We are human. All right. Keep that in mind. We are human and we do make mistakes. We're not perfect, but we all try to do our best.
Yeah, I mean, to me, as a resident, as a citizen, that's all you want to hear from an elected official. A lot of elected officials, at least I'm starting to learn, they kind of throw a lot of stuff you want to hear. And I don't think you're doing that. I think you're giving us stuff that we can use. So we really appreciate that. I don't know if you have any final words for the people out there watching. We've held a pretty good crowd.
We are
It was a fun first podcast.
I'm planning to do a new community service clinic. I am looking more or less around June, more or less, after school's out. So if you have a ticket in precinct one, remember precinct one, you don't have to live in precinct one, but if you got a ticket in precinct one, we're planning to do a community service clinic on a Saturday, early morning. So it won't be so hot because ya come estos días está caliente. So we're gonna do it in the morning. I will be there, And so if you have a ticket, come talk to us. We will help you, but come talk to us. Don't just let it go. All right. Because one thing that I forgot to ask, if you get a ticket and you get, un libro de tickets, and this happens a lot to the young kids. They get ticket after ticket after ticket y no los pagan. Y luego all of a sudden they want to get their license and they go pay 6 tickets at a time. Well, guess what? Those 6 tickets are going to be registered in your license at that time. that time, and you're going to get your license suspended. You're going to get your license, revoked because you have 6 tickets. Even if you had them over a course of 4 years, but you paid them all at once, then you're going to get your license suspended. So you
Oh,
need to
wow.
be aware. As soon as you get a ticket, you need to take care of it. I said one thing that I forgot to talk about:
Hmm.
DPS hearings. I am the
Okay.
only judge in U.S. and Maverick County that does the DPS hearings. When we do DPS hearings, the Texas Department of Public Safety, these are for people that are truck drivers. These are for people that lost their license, they're getting revoked, they're getting, their medical card, what have you. When you go before uh, the DPS courts, I am not acting as justice of the peace, Kina Mancha. I'm acting as the judge for DPS. Now, like I tell everybody, you're there because you lost your license or the state wants to take your license away. I understand that everybody needs their license, especially the truck drivers. Okay, you need your license to live. That's your livelihood, and I do not like to take people's license away. I've been doing this part for, I believe, maybe like 9 years that I've
Hmm.
been the PS judge. They have a
Do they
court.
designate that, or
Excuse me.
is that designated, or how does that work?
They
Or
asked
any
me.
JP can?
Any judge can do it. They were doing it
Oh,
with the municipal court back in, oh no, you know what, it's even more because I was still in my very first office. They were doing it, but he couldn't do it, blah blah blah. So they asked me, Judge, can you cover? I said yes. So I think it's more like 11 years. I said yes, not a problem. And we had like 30 court cases, and we just kept taking it. And they're like, would you mind being the judge for DPS? I said no, I have no problem. So that's how we started, and I've been doing it. And those 11 years, I think I've taken one CDL for life away. And it's not because I wanted to, it's because the state did not allow me. This person got 2 DWIs, and with the CDL, that's just the way it is. And maybe I've taken like 4 licenses away in an order of 11 years. I hate, like I said, I hate taking people's license away because that is the one thing that everybody needs, their driver's
mhm.
license. All right. So I will give you, probation. We'll do probation. We'll do dismissal. We'll do as much as we can. But taking away the license is not something that I like to do or that I love to do. So that's another thing. We need to keep people's license because people need their license for everything.
No, yeah. I mean, just to drive to get food, drive to work. It's a necessity to ID yourself whenever if you're asked to show your ID by law enforcement.
Yes, sir.
No, yeah, it's very much needed. And you know what? I mean, I think a lot of people listening wanna say that they appreciate what you're doing because it helps people out rather than kind of just throwing the book at them, so to speak. Um, but it's something that you can really appreciate when they're willing to help you out, knowing that the time right now isn't the best, financial isn't the best business. We're battling this inflation right now in the country and everything, and
Yes,
gas is
sir.
going up, all that. So it's difficult, but it's definitely something we can appreciate. Having somebody that we can go to that we know is going to help us out, rather than oh, all she wants is to get the money, or all they want is to what have you.
Yes, sir. Yes, we're not there for that. We're not a collection agency. We're not here to collect money for the county. We're here to be just and keep the peace, just like the title says, justice of the peace. All right. And we will try to help everybody as much as we can, but we will not break the law for anybody. Please keep that in mind. All right. We will help you, but we're not going to break the law. And cash is not accepted in my court. To pay a ticket, to pay a fine, to open up a case, cash is not accepted. It has to be check or money order.
Check your money order.
Yes, sir.
And where your office is located? I don't think we
15
got.
Las Quintas. It's in the middle of Las Quintas where the park is, where the mobile home is. It's a big
Okay.
sign. See, I love hot pink. So everything, all my signs are, it says Judge Mancha is hot pink. All right. So if you see that means, Judge Mancha,
Yeah.
that's the color that I've chosen. And because I like it. And so if you see me wearing hot pink, you're like, I know who she is. But yes, sir. If you see my sign, que diga Judge Kina Mancha, it's hot pink. Yep. That you found the correct office. Yes, sir.
All righty. And where can they reach your offices just in case you need to talk to your assistant,
And then you
to
can
get things
call
arranged?
830-757-9201 or 830-757-9208. Those
Awesome.
are
Well, thank you, Ms. Mancha. I mean, it's been educational, not boring educational, but there's a lot of stuff that I mean, a lot of people in the comments, I don't know if you can see, are appreciative about the information that you gave us. So, I mean, I hope we're going to see you back sometime soon again,
excited
especially
and
with the elections coming up.
coming over. November, Kina Mancha,
Hmm.
just precinct one. I'm asking for your vote, por favor. Si Dios quiere, we're gonna do it one more time. Y si Dios no quiere, pues I'm happy with the 16 years that I've had. I'm happy to help, and it's up to my constituents whether they want me back or not. Pero Dios quiera, Dios manda. We just do, as it goes.
All righty. Well, you have a lovely night, Miss Mancha, and I appreciate you joining us tonight on the Rising Texan podcast.
Everybody have a good night. Dios los bendiga.
Good night. All right, guys. So I hope you guys got information that maybe you didn't know. Maybe some of you have to go back to that glove compartment, take out those tickets you've been hiding for a while, and give our friend, the Justice of the Peace in Maverick County Precinct One, Miss Kina Mancha, a call to see how she can help you out with that. Guys, thank you very much for joining our podcast. We should be having something every week for y'all, and be checking in between the weeks. If you haven't already, make sure you sign up for the notifications. So every time we come with a live, you never know where we might be. Could be a podcast, could be something that's developing out there in the field. Be sure to tap that little bell so whenever we have a live, you will be notified right away, and you won't miss anything of our podcast, any information or any action that's going out there in our community. Well, just a final thanks to everybody for joining us, and we appreciate the support. And we'll see you guys next time. Big shout out to our sponsors, uh, Viva K9 uh, Board and Grooming Center. Viva K9, be good to your furry friend. Take them to Viva K9 Boarding, Grooming, and grooming services. And also from Wagon Wheel Smokehouse and Saloon. Guys, they have a new location in Dural Boulevard. It's a little bit closer inside city limits. Please go visit our friends at Wagon Wheel. Of course, you guys need to be looking out for the mobile truck, the El Barbon barbecue, and more. Be on the lookout for that at your nearest community event. That's all we have for you today, guys. Of course, we always have our podcast Wednesdays at 8, and we also have in between. So with the elections coming up in May, we have a runoff coming up, and we also have the water district, the Maverick County Water Control and Improvement District number 1. They're headed into elections. If you guys have seen our videos, our live, um, there's a lot of stuff going out there, guys. Stay tuned. We'll be scratching that surface out there at the Maverick County Water Control and Improvement District number 1. Thank you guys for joining. We'll see y'all. Have a nice, lovely night. The rest of your week. Hump day tonight. Won't be tomorrow. Mini Friday tomorrow. Y'all have a lovely evening.